Hi everyone, just wanted to introduce you to my seaweed collection. Um, Now we actually have to start this conversation by talking about salt. So typically any kind of salt that you use, which is just table salt, kosher salt, um, already has iodine in it. Although the salt itself is actually pretty bad for you, it does provide a necessary nutrient. Now when you do choose to upgrade your salt to say Celtic salt, or pink Himalayan salt. These are not iodized salts, but you can see the quality of them. They're gray, they're a little bit darker. The Himalayan is pink. There's also black salt. Those salts are really mineralizing and very beneficial for you, but they don't contain iodine. So you really do need to supplement with whole foods such as seaweed to get that iodine. So definitely upgrade your regular kosher white bleached horrible sea salt to something that's a little bit better for you, actually a lot better for you, upgraded to Celtic or Himalayan pink. But then you really do need to include some sea vegetables for iodine, which is really healthy, especially for your thyroid. And so we're going to start actually with kelp. So we have two different kinds of kelp here. And by the way, we're using the Maine Coast Sea Vegetables. This is not the only brand. This is just, that happens to be the brand that we have in our house, but you can certainly look online for other sources that you really trust. These are semi-local to us. We're at least on the same coast, which is nice. And they're a smaller company, and we typically buy in bulk because these obviously have, the expiration date is 2015, and I think I bought it last year. They last a long time, and you're going to start using these in a lot of different scenarios, so it's really nice to have big bags of them. But certainly you can go online and find all different sources for wild, just sea vegetables that are really healthy. The two kinds of kelp that we love, they're the digitata kelp and the kombu. The kombu bag is actually empty because we use it all the time. So I wanted to at least show you what the bag looks like. And it's organic, obviously. The difference between the two, and I wish I had a little bit of kombu to show you, is this is actually long, a little bit on the thin side, and really hard, and you have to use kitchen shears to cut it. The digitata is a little bit more malleable, a little more flexible. It's curly. I still use kitchen shears for this too, but it's a little bit thinner and a little more versatile to using it. If you were to, say, chew on a piece of it, it would be a little easier to chew than the kombu, but they're both really, really good. The kombu is actually what is typically used in macrobiotic cooking for any kind of, grains, to mineralize grains and whatnot. And I really use both of these for anything that requires water to cook. So soups, broths, stews, beans require water, grains require water. Anything in the pressure cooker, I just throw it right in. I typically cut about maybe 2 inches or 4 inches, depending on what you'd like, and throw it in with whatever you're cooking. And then at the end, you can either take it out and discard it, or I kind of like to eat it. I know some people might think that's really weird, but it's kind of chewy and fun, and I don't like to waste food. So And what this ends up doing is the water actually draws out, the cooking process draws out the minerals in the kelp, and it mineralizes the food that you're eating, which is really great. So it's a great source of iodine. It's great for your thyroid. It's a great natural whole foods based supplement. Obviously there's iodine supplements out there, but I always go for the whole food because why not? This is so much more recognizable, and it's actually really delicious. And it's not what you think. It doesn't actually make the food taste fishy at all or like the ocean. It's a very mild flavor. I think you'd like it. So that's kombu and that's digitata. Now we're going to go to rockweed. So rockweed has these really fun little balloons that I guess make it float. This is just a sample. And you can probably, I don't know if you can see, but the actual pods of air are very, very hard. But the rest of it is kind of malleable as well. So you can just kind of, use some scissors and kind of cut it in your salad or cut it over rice or just kind of chew on it. I think they also have rockweed that is coarse cut, almost like this. So you can eventually just sprinkle it over your food if you don't feel like chewing. So either is fine. This next one is really, really fun. Kind of funny to pronounce bladderwhack, which is kind of neat. And it's more leafy. It kind of looks a little bit more like a leaf, and it's a little softer than the rockweed. But you also have, again, the coarse cut. So this is really great because in place of salt, you could just sprinkle this, and it gives it a really nice flavor. And it's easier. It's obviously much easier to kind of to chew on, you know, this powder than the actual whole leaf bladderwhack. But I think it's fun sometimes to include funny names of foods in your diet and just say, I'm eating bladderwhack right now, and that's totally cool. I dig that. I like that. This is my favorite. So sea lettuce. I don't know if you ever get a chance to look at sea lettuce on Google. It's beautiful. It's very fragile looking. It's the dried version is very papery. It's a much different color, much greener than the rest. You can kind of see. So even for the eyes, and very visual. For the eyes, it's a lot nicer to look at. The one thing about sea lettuce is that it's very mild. So I could literally take this and put it in my mouth and just chew it up, and it gives me, you know, when I need salt or minerals, when I have kind of a salty craving, this is what I do. I just take a little bit of seaweed and I chew on it, and it's really good. And if you don't feel like chewing on it, certainly you can do the sea lettuce flakes, but it's a really beautiful plant. It's a vibrant green, and it's mixes really well. If you wanted to make like a raw Caesar dressing, you could just mix up some soaked cashews and garlic and a little bit of this. It's going to have a green hue, but that's okay because it's gonna taste amazing. And so that's the sea lettuce. That's one of my favorites. And then we have nori. So nori, you guys know, is what typically people make sushi out of. They're just these beautiful black sheets of seaweed. This happens to be untoasted raw, which is kind of my preference. But really, if you wanted to do the toasted, that's okay too. Just so that you know, this is organic. It does say it's from China. And of course, this is Maine Coast sea vegetables. I actually spoke with them and they said that they do some pretty rigorous testing both in China and before they ship it here. Once it arrives here, they also do some testing on it just to make sure that there's no nasties in there. So even though it says from China, everything else is legitimately from Maine Coast sea vegetables, but this is the one product that they really do a lot of good testing on, and I feel a little bit safer eating that. So if that's a problem, certainly look for other sources of it. But this is great because I just take a couple of sheets, I tear it up, and they're like chips. You feel like you're eating chips, and they're really kind of crunchy and delicious, and I love it. And also I fill these up instead of, if you do the bread root and the tortillas and whatnot, that's totally fine. But if you're looking for something new, if you fill this up with avocado, I'll give you a really simple recipe, and then I'll give you a really crazy one that I like, just so I don't scare you. The simple recipe would just be avocado and a lot of different vegetables, and just kind of roll it up like a little sandwich. The crazy recipe, which I don't know what you're going to think about, but to me it's absolutely delicious, is actually avocado and sauerkraut. Raw fermented sauerkraut and some nori. It's so good. And you can make your own sushi, or you can just use it as you would like a tortilla to wrap up your vegetables in. So now that you think I'm completely weird, let's move to the last one. This is dulse. So if you can see, the coloring of everything else so far has been kind of green and brown. This is a beautiful purple, almost maroon. And dulse is the one that I found out of all of these that really tastes the fishiest. But I actually don't really like fish, and I like dulse. So I think that says something. It's strong, but it has a very clean taste. It's not like a fishy taste. It's just more like, I should say, more of an ocean taste. I think that's what it is. And if you make, now this is a big bag. I don't know if you can see it. It's humongous, and it's going to last us forever. Literally forever. And if you'd like a sample, you can just come on by and I'll give you a sample. What's great about this is that if you made like a nut pate, say nut and seed pate with almonds and sunflower seeds, and then added some onions and celery and added a little bit of this, like maybe a half a tablespoon or a tablespoon, you end up with almost like a mock tuna salad. So it really gives the illusion of an ocean flavor, maybe like tuna fish, without actually having all the problems of mercury or overfishing. And it's a plant-based source of that taste, which is really nice. And you're getting all the beautiful minerals out of it too. The color itself is going to make the pate almost have a little bit of a pink or a violet hue, which is really, really nice. So that's one thing you can do with dulse, and it lasts forever. And what I've also used with this is I've made like an herbal sprinkle. So I guess you can take equal parts of parsley and dulse and sesame seeds and just kind of add whatever your favorites, your herbs would be, and then use that in place of salt, which is really nice. So this is dulse. Again, we're gonna go back, show you the nori again. My favorite, which is the sea lettuce, and you really have to try it. If you promise me, I'll try it. The bladderwhack, because it's really fun to say. The rockweed. The kelp kombu. This is not it, it's just a bag. And now this is the digitata kelp. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Last but not least, definitely upgrade your salt to something that's more recognizable, more natural, and then definitely supplement your diet with iodine that comes from the earth, and enjoy your seaweed. Eat more of it, and call me in the morning.